Hey kids, it's Pastor Ethan, and I am so excited that you joined us for another midweek here with New Life Kids. I have a question for you. Have you ever gotten mad? Like really mad that you maybe acted out of control? Like you got so mad you did something you actually regretted. Well, today in our Bible story today, we're going to hear about a man named Haman from the book of Esther. Haman got so mad that he actually tried to kill an entire race of people. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I don't want to ruin the whole surprise for you, but before we jump into it, let's check out this video from today.
And welcome back to this series, YOLO, You Only Live Once, where we've been learning about some pretty awesome stories from the book of Esther. And of course, I'm on a journey to do some pretty daring risks. Today, you're not going to believe what I'm going to do. Check it out.
Today, I'm going to do something no one else gets to do. I'm going to ride in a drift car. Here he comes. I'm buckled in and I'm ready to go drifting, but before we do, here, let me get a glass of water. Incredible. You know, there was a point where I got kind of angry, but I quickly regained control with God's help. You know why? Because anger is a horrible thing with horrible consequences if you let it control you. Someone who really dealt with anger in the book of Esther is a man named Haman. His anger led him to do some horrible things. You're going to learn all about that in your lesson today, and you're going to learn from Haman's bad example of what happens when you let anger control you. Well, I'm going to let you get back into your lesson today. And while you do that, I'm going to be planning my next big stunt. Until next time, I'm Lauren, reminding you that you only live once. Make it count.
Anger is a very powerful emotion in our lives, and we need to learn how to control our anger and not let our anger control us. In our Bible story today, we're going to hear about how we can respond when we are angry and how not to respond when we're angry. Let's jump in. Before we do, let's worship.
In the chaos, when I'm far away, I can hear you. I'll never be the same. God, you're calling out my name, 'cause you love me. God, you lead me when I've lost my way. You'll never leave me. heart surrenders to your design. You gave me purpose, so I give my life. I'm giving you all of me. Out of the darkness and into your light, my heart surrenders to your design. You gave me purpose, so I give my life. I'm giving you all of me. Forever I will lift my voice. Forever you will be my choice. Forever I will stand for you. I'm giving you all of me. I'm giving you all of me. Forever I will lift my voice. Forever you will be my choice. Forever I will stand for you. I'm giving you all of me. I'm giving you all of me.
Hey kids, let's dive into our Bible story today. So today we're going to be in the book of Esther, and we're going to be talking about the man named Haman. Haman was an official royal guy inside of King Artaxerxes' inner circle. He was a very, very important guy. And because he was so important, he thought everyone should treat him special. Because he was this really important person, he wanted to be treated special. And actually what he wanted to do is, as he walked by, he wanted people to bow down to him. Like, bow down. Like, dude, your ego is so big, you need people to actually bow down to you. Anyways, that's kind of crazy. But he was coming by the gate, there by the palace, and Mordecai was there. Remember Mordecai, Esther's cousin from last week? He was standing there. And here comes Haman. Haman's watching everybody bow down to him, and he sees Mordecai. Hey, you, bow down to me. And Mordecai's like, nah, fool, I only bow down to the one true God. And this made Haman so angry. From this time forward, Haman plots to kill not just Mordecai, all of the Jews. The Jews were God's chosen people living in captivity there inside of Babylon. And so Haman convinces the king, kind of in a shrewd way, that there's this group of people living inside the kingdom that is causing all kinds of trouble for the king, and that he should give Mordecai and all the people, all the citizens of this country, permission on a certain day to kill all the Jews and take everything that belongs to them. Bad deal for the Jews. And so Haman actually gets the king to pass this law. And he's so excited, he goes home, begins to celebrate with all his friends, and he begins looking at all his wealth, counting all his money. And he says to his friends, you know what? None of this means anything if I can't get that Jew Mordecai to bow down to me. I'm going to show him who's boss. Well, if you remember our Bible story from last week, King Artaxerxes couldn't sleep one night, so he began reading some of the history books. And he's reading the history books of himself, and he comes to the part where Mordecai actually uncovers a plot to kill the king. And then the king's like, well, what did we ever do for Mordecai? And they're like, we didn't do anything for Mordecai. And so the king calls in Haman. He's like, Haman, this guy I really want to take care of. I want to show him how much I love him, how much I want to honor him, how much I want to respect him. What would you do for someone that the king wishes to honor? So Haman's like, he's talking about me. I'm going to get this set up. He's like, you know what, king? You should let him have some kingly jewelry, some bling bling from the king. Then you should let him wear one of your royal robes and let him ride around on your horse for a day and have someone parade him around town saying, this is what the king does for someone he wishes to honor. The problem was, guess what? The guy he wanted to honor was Mordecai, Haman's arch enemy. And the king Artaxerxes told Haman, do all of this stuff that you just told me for Mordecai. And guess who wound up leading the horse around saying, this is what the king does for someone he wishes to honor? That's right. It was Haman leading around Mordecai. Could you imagine the anger that Haman felt that day? But here's the important part of our Bible story is never let your anger get control of you. Never allow your anger to make you make decisions for the rest of your life. That was our Bible story today, guys. Hey, let's actually stand up for a worship song.
You were the Word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares
Wiggy Pop! I'm here to teach you another rockin' power verse. Today's power verse says, don't sin by letting anger control you. Psalm 4:4a. Whoa, what a rockin' power verse! Now, you know what I need? I need my boys. That's right. Boys, stand up and say the power verse with me, Wiggy Pop, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't sin by letting anger control you. Psalm 4:4a. Great job, boys. You may have a seat, but now I need my girls. Come on, ladies, stand up and say the power verse with me, Wiggy, on the count of 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Don't sin by letting anger control you. Psalm 4:4a. Great job. You may have a seat. You know, anger is a powerful thing. The other day, I got so angry because one of my roadies dropped my brand new guitar amp. I was like, man, don't you know how much a brand new air guitar amp costs? It's expensive. But then I stopped myself and I asked God to help me with my anger. And you know what? He did. He helped me get control of my anger before it got control of me. What a relief. Now, you know what I need right now? I need everybody, boys and girls, to stand up and say this power verse with old Wiggy together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Don't sin by letting anger control you. Psalm 4:4a. Nicely done. But before you sit down, let me hear your air guitar. Woo! Great job. You may have a seat. Well, my name is Wiggy Pop, and I've got to get on to my next gig. I'll see you next time when I teach you another rockin' power verse. See you later. Woo!
So obviously we've learned today that Haman allowed himself to become angry, allowed his anger to control him. Anger is an emotion, and it's an emotion given to us by God. So what do we do with our anger? Anger is something that's not created from the devil, it's created from God. There's actually times where you can be righteously angry. You can be seeing something that's sinful, something that's not right, something that is unjust, and do something about it. And that is a time of righteous anger. But most of the time, guys, let's be honest, our anger is not righteous. Our anger is self-centered. We get angry at brother and sister because they don't do something they like. One of my favorite times I've seen this is I had some little cousins, and this one cousin was taking all the toys from the other cousin. And so after he got all his toys taken away, he walks up to picks up his favorite toy and just wallops his older brother in the head with the toy. I was like, oh my goodness, this is like a perfect example of anger. Like, it's anger being, I'm going to get him. I'm about to tear him up. Maybe it's you have anger with a friend. Maybe you have a friend and maybe they promise to sit with you at lunch today, and then they go sit with another group of friends, and you're all alone. Maybe you get mad at your parents because they won't let you go to a friend's house, and they get to go. My friends are going to do this, and I don't get to do that, and I'm doing my AMI packets, and I can't believe my parents don't do that. Well, that's another form of anger. We don't need to let our anger control us and turn us into sin. Psalms 4:4 says this. It says, "Don't sin by letting your anger control you. Think about it overnight and remain silent." And the first thing that you have to learn about dealing with your anger is don't overreact. Keep your cool. Keep your cool. Don't overreact. So many times we want to reach out. We want to react violently. We want to be justified. We want people to do it our way. And when we don't get our way, we just, we turn to like the Incredible Hulk. We're like, you won't like me when I'm angry. Like, that's how we react. We just instantaneously react. It's best for us to think about it overnight, bring our frustrations to God, bring our anger to God, and say, God, here it is. You can have it. I'm going to remain quiet. I'm just going to give this to God and allow God to seek vengeance for myself. Don't overreact. Keep it cool. Don't hold grudges. Choose to forgive. Anger oftentimes turns into bitterness. And bitterness is like a poison. It slowly seeps in and begins to cause damage, not just at the point of impact, but all throughout your life. When you allow bitterness to control your life and you don't allow forgiveness to roll through your life, God can't forgive you. Jesus said, forgive and you will be forgiven. When you choose to hold on to a grudge, when you choose to be angry with somebody over a long time, you say, no, God, I'm not going to forgive that person. And God says, well, if you can't forgive them, I can't forgive you either. Jesus said, forgive others so that you may be forgiven. So guys, we don't need to hold on to grudges. The grudges actually come back to bite Haman later on in our Bible, so we'll get to that in a few weeks. But we don't want to allow anger to control our lives. We want God to be in control. We want to forgive just like we have been forgiven. How many know that God has already forgiven you so much and that you need to be forgiven? The third thing is don't be bitter. Choose joy. You have a choice to choose joy. You can either choose to be bitter or you can choose to forgive and be in joy. Joy comes from the Lord. You can be hurt and still experience the joy of God in your life. See, Pastor Ethan, how is this possible? You know what? I honestly can't explain it to you other than this is a joy that God gives to you in your life. God says, I'm going to leave you with peace and joy. These are two things that can come into our life supernaturally by God, regardless of the circumstances you are in. So this week, I want you to not be bitter, to choose joy. So today, guys, let's be honest, some of us have bitterness and anger in our lives, and we need to ask God to forgive us of those things, to help us to let those things go so that we can forgive others and so that we can be forgiven. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for what you're doing in our lives today. God, I ask that you help us to be quick forgivers, God, that we would quickly forgive, that we would not choose our own path and not choose just to be right and hold on to grudges, but God, that we would forgive so that we can be forgiven. God, we thank you and give you praise. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. Hope you enjoy our daily devotionals, and we'll see you Sunday right here on The Social.